Thank you for watching my video. My name is Jocelyn. I'm 46 years old. I have type 2 diabetes. I'm perimenopausal. I am overweight. I have an underactive thyroid, high cholesterol, and was recently prescribed Mounjaro by my endocrinologist. I am currently on the 5 milligram dosage. All right. So in this video, I'm going to share with you my journey to better health using Mounjaro, and my goal in these videos is to provide insight, information, and inspiration for those who are also using Mounjaro. Maybe you have some questions or you want to see what's it like if you're just about to start and you're going to have that conversation with your own physician or healthcare provider, or for those who are just struggling to be healthier. So in this particular video, I'm going to talk to you about my results with Mounjaro. Are my side effects improving and how this has changed my relationship with food? First, let's talk about numbers. My fasting blood sugar was 151. I had the best numbers yesterday at 109, so that's a drop of 28 points. This morning it was only at 146, so that's a 4-point drop. I figured it's because I ate out twice yesterday and I had 2 beers, so that kind of blew my diet a little bit. And I have been much more compliant with medication, taking my meds, but I'm still working on that. I am 5'7". My weight starting out 9 days ago was 196.6, and I am down to 186, which is a 10.6-pound weight loss, which is averaging about 1.2 pounds a day. Let's talk about how I feel. I switched from one of the things that has gone away is the sulfur burps. And that may be because of the diet. I've decided to go back to try to be vegan, which is something it's a long process. It takes months. And I even had a day where I had some meat. So I'm not going to beat myself up for that. But it was very minor. And I think the fact that I'm gone to more vegetables and plant-based, more of a vegetable-based diet, has improved those. So I haven't had that belching in maybe a belch or two, but it used to be like all day. It was horrible. And then the sulfur burps, it was just kind of this nasty, horrible taste in your mouth that has gone away. So that's been good. The other one was I had diarrhea. And if you watched one of my videos, I had diarrhea pretty bad for one day. It was, and I'm not quite sure what it was, whether or not I do suffer from constipation. I also have IBS. So I was taking Miralax. So I had the Miralax and yeah, I don't know what, I can't remember if I ate something weird or something like that. I also think it may have been time. So being perimenopausal, if you know anything about, for you guys, this may be something you'll learn. Women, you'll know about this. Right before you start your cycle, you get bloated and you retain water. And then right when the cycle begins, you lose that extra water weight and then you get a lot of cramping. The cramping, of course, is to expel menstrual fluid from your uterus. Now, what it also does, it also cramps your intestines. So that's why a lot of women, when they're on their cycle, will have cramps and they also have diarrhea. So it's really just a horrible thing. Now, I am perimenopausal and I still am getting a lot of the symptoms that I'm going to start my cycle, but I just haven't had that many cycles in the past year. So I'm thinking that might have been it as well. It felt sort of like that. You want to say hello? This is Geneva. She wants to say hello. Hmm? You eating vegetables too? Hmm? No, say I'm not eating any vegetables. I got to eat meat. So sweet. Sweetheart. All right. What was I saying? So that might have been it, where I could have been, my cycle should have been coming on. I really don't know what happened that day. But now we went back to constipation. Now Saturday, actually I started Friday evening. I I decided to get into a chili cook-off, and I made a veggie chili. Actually, it was vegan chili because the toppings are like, you can bring toppings as well. And so I bought vegan sour cream, non-dairy sour cream, and non-dairy cheese as well. So the whole thing was vegetarian, vegan. Well, of course, you're talking, I'm sampling all day. I'm eating beans and vegetables, and it was actually really good. And I figured I had a piano lesson to do that Saturday. So, oh my gosh, please don't let me have to go to the bathroom in these people's home and have, big old explosion or something. But I didn't go on Saturday. And so by Sunday, I decided to go ahead and take the Miralax again, generic. I think it's whatever, the Target brand or Walmart brand. And I put it in my coffee on Sunday. And this morning, I did have some loose stools, not so much diarrhea, but yeah, definitely some loose, watery stools. So in that sense, I got to think about, that might be something that I might have to take every day for a while. And that was part of the reason why my doctor did not want to put me on Mounjaro because of the issues with constipation. And so, that's something that I'm still working with. The fatigue is still around. That is probably the thing I'm dealing with the worst. I'm so tired, y'all. I woke up yesterday at like 8:30 and I felt so much better. I usually am up like sometimes 6, 7 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get as much work done. But all day I was just tired. I went to a brunch. I really didn't feel like going. I was tired. The night before, after the cook off, I met some other people downtown in a city right next to where I live, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just exhausted. I must be like 12 o'clock. And I looked at my watch. It was 8:30. I'm like, this is insane. I went home. I was exhausted. I went home and went to sleep. And had a really good night's sleep. So the fatigue is really having me bothering me. Part of it is because I have too much on my plate, so I'm trying to take a lot of that stuff away, and my calendar's been really full. How am I going to handle this? I really don't know. I'm hoping it just kind of works out on itself, but I don't know what else to do about the fatigue. The next one is how about exercise? No, I have not done any exercising. Besides that, the weekend when I first started, I walked around a lot that Saturday and that Sunday, and I've been wanting to go. But again, the fatigue has been so bad. Like I just lay down and I'm like, I'm going to fall asleep. It's just bad. Okay. The other thing is, yes, I have been trying to be more vegan. At the chili cook-off, I did try others that had some meat in it because, I'm all right. Like I said, this is a process. Then Sunday I had all vegetarian. I had some dishes with cheese. The last part, let's talk about my relationship with food. This has been the most interesting thing that I have found is the way that my brain is working when I'm thinking about food. Let's start with the chili. So the chili cook-off was fun, but maybe the fatigue, I don't know. The directions, I saw 2 and 8, and it was bring enough chili. I can't remember. I thought it was 8 gallons, so I made 8 gallons of chili, and they really only asked for 2. So I had a ton of chili left, but I said, you know what? That's okay. The thing that was bothering me was, of course, I need to freeze it because the event's not for another 2 more weeks. And as I'm pulling out, I'm looking in the freezer's full. And I'm looking at the freezer and it's full of processed foods. It should be full of home cooked meals that I've made, frozen vegetables, frozen fruit, not pot stickers and burritos and stuff like that. And I think this is where we lose track of what we're eating and we think we're doing okay and I'm not eating that much or it's not really that bad. But in fact, we actually are. And I saw that most prominently when I was going through that. So I need to quit buying this junk. It's just really junk food. So I'm not sure if it's the thought of going back to a more diet, or is it Mounjaro that's causing my brain to work a little bit different? I really don't know. The next thing was at brunch. I was sitting around looking and I noticed just how fat everybody was. I live in the South, but I would imagine this is probably prevalent wherever you are and if you live in the United States, but just everybody, and not to say anything like, oh, look how fat everybody is. I'm like, I'm fat too. But just to say, like, we really are a nation that's really in a really bad downward spiral. We've got to take control over this weight issue. This is not healthy for you. I don't care what anybody says. It's not healthy to have this much weight on. Not only diabetes and heart disease and higher risk of cancer and breast cancer and colon cancer and all kinds of stuff. I don't care what anybody says, okay? Being overweight, being obese is not healthy. No, it's not. Being normal weight and, not using tobacco and eating a healthy diet, high fiber, and lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, those sorts of things, that's what works for health wise. And not to disparage anybody, because I mean, you can do all what you can and still have cancer and heart attacks and stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm not sure if it's this narrative that we've been told, be big at any size and you're awesome and you're great. It's not healthy. I'm sorry. It's just really not. You should love yourself, and then love yourself enough to want to be healthy, and then speak to healthcare providers about what you need to do to be healthier. The other thing I noticed was the portion size was huge. Everybody's plate. This was somebody's. This was mine. And this was somebody else's. Look at that. Look at that portion size. And most people at the table ate their food. Some people took one person took their food home. They ate half of it. And I was sitting next to somebody and we were all like, oh my gosh, this plate is so huge and stuff like that. And then she even said, I'm full. And she still finished the rest. She ate half. It was like a burrito. And we're not talking about the little breakfast burritos you get at McDonald's. I'm talking about, it was like a big old burrito. And she ate half of it and she said, I'm full. And my thought was, yeah, I'll take the other half home. But no, she finished the rest. And we've gotten to that point and we've got to think to ourselves, is this like the best dish in the world? You live here. It's not like, I'm out of town and there's no place for me to store it. And I don't have a refrigerator and I don't want to waste food. Well, they could have took it home. You lived here. I just thought to myself, stop eating. And I was like, I'm not going to eat all this stuff. The other thing I've started to notice is how bland, boring food is becoming. The breakfast I had, it looked good, but it was okay. I had to ask for hot sauce. I'm like, this was a Mexican restaurant. I'm like, I really don't understand why there isn't more spices in this. It was okay. But even when I went to dinner with somebody else, I've also noticed that I ordered a plate of French fries and a bowl of garlic noodles. Ended up taking the majority of the garlic noodles home. But I ate the fries really slow. Like I ate them with a fork and ate like each one individually to say, I don't want to eat too much. I want to try to enjoy my food a little bit more. And it really wasn't all that great. I'm not sure if my taste buds are changing, if this is doing something weird with my brain. Again, I don't really know what's going on, but definitely I would have rather eaten a big old bowl of my homemade chili that was full of um, cumin and harissa. I think that's what you call it, harissa, and peppers and onions and garlic and jalapeno peppers and chipotle peppers. I mean, this thing, y'all, was so good. I was like, this is like the best dish I ever made. But anyways, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with this Mounjaro and how, if it's affecting the way that I feel about food and my relationship with food, or is it just I know what I need to do and I'm finally putting up and saying I'm done. And this is why I kind of got on this journey, because I've been ignoring my health for a really long time. And I went back to the doctor and I was like, let's get back on it. This is I don't want to, I don't want to have any problems. Luckily, I have not had any diabetic complications like neuropathy, which is like tingling and numbness in your fingers and your toes. Haven't had that. Haven't had sores that don't heal. When I go to the ophthalmologist, not the optometrist is for your glasses. The ophthalmologist is the medical doctor that goes to medical school and looks at your eyes. I go every year because I'm diabetic, and so we get to kind of look at the scans and stuff. And we've noticed that there's been some busted. I think it's like maybe some leakage or something. Where luckily I'm not getting any spots. My vision's not changing very much. I'm having just a minor adjustments in my prescription. And but she said, if you're seeing it here, you've got some leakages in your vessels somewhere else. This is the start. This is where we start to see it. And I think this is what, because I don't want to lose my eyesight. Diabetic complications because of vision loss. I think the second cause of vision loss beyond like genetic, having a genetic illness or something like that, is diabetic complications. And I've seen people who've lost their legs. They've had to have their legs cut off, um, gangrene in their toes. It's a terrible, horrible, horrible disease. And I've been dealing with it for, I think, 20 years. And was when I first was told I was diabetic, it was, insulin's going to come sooner rather than later. And this is what I'm trying to stave off. I'm really trying to stave off insulin as best as I can. But sitting around eating potato chips, eating ramen noodles every day because I'm too lazy to get up and cook. So, and that's really what it is. It's just laziness. If I and then my freezer full of junk food, my cabinets full of junk food. It's like a big awakening. So anyways, thanks again for watching. If you resonate with this, is there something that you're getting with when you're using Mounjaro that you're like, this is weird. I haven't had to experience this before. Maybe some differences in the way that you feel about your diet. I don't want to say diet. The way you feel about food, your relationship, what's going on. Put in the comments, is there another weird side effect that you're like, yeah, I'm dealing with this too, girl. All right. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. And see you next time. Bye-bye.